Staying inside the lines is a constant challenge when you're painting. As with most things in Photoshop, this problem can be solved in a variety of ways. In this video, I'm going to show you how to preserve nice, painterly edges when you're using a white background, like the illustration on the right. In its most basic form, using any sort of preserved edge allows me to make long, confident brush strokes without worrying about stopping right at the edge of the shape. So see here, I can draw well beyond the borders of this rectangle, but I know that I won't draw outside the lines because I have a marquee to stop me. But oftentimes, if you're working with an image that has a complex shape, you don't want those marching ants around your document the entire time you're painting. So you can approach the task from the opposite direction. I'm going to do the inverse selection of that, which is to say the opposite. Make a new layer and fill it with solid white, and then deselect. Now when I paint underneath that layer, the exact same effect happens. It's as if I have a rectangular marquee, except technically right now there's no selection at all. The only thing I have is this top layer, which works like a framing element. So in this way, you're actually faking a background with what is the most foreground layer in your document, the top of the stack. So when's a good opportunity to do this technique? Why would you take all that time to fake a layer cutout when you could just use a background instead? Well, the times I use it are when I know I'm going to have a solid background color. In this example, I've got a character that sits on a white background that would work well on a printed page. Because I knew there wouldn't be any gradation in the background at all, I can make that solid background ahead of time and keep it on the top of my stack. To create my fake background layer, I'll start with a toned canvas so I can see where it is I'm painting. And I'll make a new layer above my line work and start painting in white. Generally, I'm using the hard round brush. And then I'll use the hard round eraser to bring it back where I've made errors. And once I've gotten most of the hard edges down, I'll make a new layer and paint with a soft round brush, where I want the characters to fade into the background a little more. And if I've done too much of this effect, it's good that I've created it on its own layer, which I can then erase out some hard edges back into. So when you're happy with your result, make one more final layer and block in the rest of the outline. And now I've taken all those layers and combined them into a single top layer. And you notice this gives me nice bonuses like I can have soft edges around where the hair is and hard edges around the laptop. It gives me great edge control that I only have to do once. And after this, I can just paint underneath. So before I start painting here, let's take a look at my layer stack. I've got one called white, which is my top layer, that's the blocker, also my framing element. Below that I've got lines, which I have set to multiply and locked. And then below that is the toned background. So all of my painting that I'm going to do will be above the background and below the lines and the white. So I'll paint just for a few seconds to show you what exactly this gives me. So see here, I can paint with long, confident strokes and don't have to worry about my edge control at all because it's already been established. And if I don't like the way the edge is looking somewhere, I can just refine it. And then merge that down to be part of the white layer. So I always am left with only a single fake background layer up on the top of my stack. So if you're working on an illustration that has a solid color background, give this a try and you save yourself a lot of time.